Thanks for joining us for episode 203 of the Coffee Roaster Warm-Up Sessions podcast. In this episode, we talk about horror stories, coffee horror stories. Everyone who's worked in the industry for quite some time has horror stories to share, bad customer experiences, things breaking, gear malfunctioning, things exploding, imploding. It just happens. In this episode, Sergey and I kick back and we talk about some of our horror stories that we've experienced from working in the coffee industry through the years. Let's get into this. I'm here with Sergey Kotrovsky. We run this podcast. I've been running it for the last few years. Here just to spread some good, valuable information for folks in the industry, folks brewing coffee at home, and just to, just share some solid insights. But as we always do, let's pour some batchy. Actually pumped about this batchy, and hopefully it tastes decent. I brewed this multiple times on pour over.
Oh, nice.
And it's been a smash and hit for me. But we're about to find out.
It's kind of the benefit of recording the podcast in the morning.
I know.
It's actually a
coffee's
morning cup.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wildly hot.
Yeah.
Wow. I think I just scorched my whole palate.
Dude, you're toast.
You're
done.
You're
done
good.
for the episode.
Wow. I feel that deep down in my lungs all the way.
I know the Aiden can keep the temperature like spot on. Your kettle's still dying, but I guess I meant by your kettle still dying. I mean the temperature's tapering off.
Yeah.
But also like I don't know. I guess maybe because it's like just so enclosed, and so that helps with thermal stability, and then it goes into a carafe that doesn't
thermal,
lose.
There's no
Because otherwise you're just in a small little glass carafe with your brew dripper on top, and pretty much the whole brew time.
Yeah.
It's the temperature's cooling off.
Yeah. Well, especially if your dripper, like a V60 sits on top of you, or a brewer, you're not using like some kind of stand or anything. Mm-hmm. There's still enough air, enough gap that it just evaporates. And it's like an open air. It's definitely going to cool down much quicker, I think, than the
I wonder how that works with, for example, like the Mocha Master. I've only used it like a few times, but it's one of the few brewers that literally just has a shower head like outside.
Outside, yeah.
I know that you can, for a few, they have those. I don't know if every single one of them has it, but like a plastic cover that you can put over the slurry.
The slurry, yeah.
But most of the photos I've seen is like people just brewing it exposed.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
interesting.
Very valid. I didn't think about that. I've had coffee on the Mocha Master. I've enjoyed it from what I remember. It's just been so long. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of these new batch brewers are very much so enclosed.
Yeah.
Especially the fellow Aiden. Like everything is like in a box, sealed, and you can't see anything, nor can you like you basically can't even see you can't even see the drip of like liquid going from the brewer into the carafe. It's literally kind of rolling off another piece of material into the carafe. So I think that's got to be one of the factors.
Yeah, which is now that I'm thinking, also kind of like the Bonavita, but the basket is so big that it kind of almost covers that whole gap, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. Interesting. That's it.
It'd be fun to get a thermal couple in there and measure the temperature. This is pretty good. It's probably one of the better batches we've had in the pod recently. I feel like we've had a few slip-ups and mess-ups.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I agree. Last few have not been a huge brewing success. What are you getting off of it?
I'm not going to say what other roaster it reminds me of, but I'm not going to say that. But it's a good roaster. I think you appreciate that. But it's definitely got that texture. Again, it's different, but it does kind of remind me of that light roast Loring texture on it. Not exactly the same, but it has that Okay, I just gotta say, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Prodigal Coffees, to be honest, but slightly. It does lean on the brighter side and slightly more juicier. So it's one of our like very much so lighter roasts. But I can't. Is this the Gosco Brothers?
The very light roast.
Mm-hmm.
The 113.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I'm quite surprised.
It's freaking
Yeah.
good. I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's actually better on pour over.
Oh, okay.
On pour over, you're getting way more of that tropical-esque.
Yeah.
It has a similar texture.
Yeah.
And like mouthfeel to what you're getting here.
Mm-hmm.
And that lightness, like on the palate. But it's also then just covered with like tropical fruit and fruitiness. So I mean, it's substantially better on filter, but even this on drip is real nice. And I'm also, I mean, somewhat, this, of course, this isn't dialed, but surprised by this brew also, because the coffee's light and it's not very soluble or whatever. Yeah. So
I'm quite surprised. Like very surprised. Yeah. That's a little shocking to me, because I also think like if I know the roast, I would have thought like, oh, there's no way it's probably gonna taste insanely bright, insanely out of proportion,
terrible.
just green. It's gonna taste like hay-like.
Yeah.
I'm not picking up like anything hay-like about it, or nothing like quote unquote peanutty or something that would catch my attention to be concerned about this having a roast defect on it. The other things, on the last episode, did we say who the roaster was? I don't think so, right?
No.
Okay, good. In comparison to that extremely light roast, this is like, this doesn't taste that like out of proportion. I remember that coffee was like, okay, there's something there. I'm not getting the clarity I want. It's slightly out of balance. This is a very light roast, but this doesn't taste the same. This does taste like it's got complexity, like it's got clarity on it. It is like bright and juicy, but I'm not saying it in a way where it's like so out of proportion that you only quote unquote taste the highs and you're not getting any like fullness. You're getting a lot out of this coffee. Like, and it's, I mean, the reality is, like, put it in reference, this does taste like a very like ultra light roast. It does. But it's not what people sometimes assume, that a light roast is completely like either undrinkable, or I posted something about like, hey, like something about light roasts being underdeveloped. I posted on Instagram, and people were applauding this and this and that. And I think there's that slight misconception that if a coffee is like ultra light, it's always underdeveloped. That's not the case. And I think this roast,
if a coffee is
ultra light roast, then it's also underdeveloped.
Okay.
That's not the case. Because this coffee, in my opinion, right now, drinking it on this batch, I don't remember how many weeks off of roast this is, but I would not blindly say this is underdeveloped, which,
Yeah, which is shocking, but goes to show that, how much like just flavor, both preferences, roasting has changed over time. I mean, just for us, but yeah, this was just to give y'all some context. I should probably started with this beforehand, because so that you can be listening and thinking about the context. But Sergi did a roast of the Gosco brothers. There was just a small little mishap, which we will talk about horror stories today. A small little mishap in the roast, and ended up roasting. We dropped a batch, ended up going much lighter than our reference. And we threw it on the cupping table, and I mean we try to cup coffees blind to just assess them. And there was a few other batches of the same coffee, and I thought this one tasted the best to me. And then throwing it on the reader, it's like on the color reader, it's very light.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I'll be honest too. Like I did not, when we cupped it, was it like less than a day off of roast or something very close to roast? On the cupping table, I did not pick it as my favorite cup. On the cup right now, it's like a whole different story, you know?
Yeah, it's, man, and especially with this coffee, man, we could just rant about this. This is actually a good podcast topic for another time is, what we were going to talk about, like how different roast levels impact flavor on different coffees. Like,
Yeah.
this cup, yeah. Anyways, I'll just leave that out because that's gonna be a rant. But yeah. So this is just to give some reference. This is like much lighter than our original coffee roast levels. And this is probably because we measure roast levels of other roasters' coffees just to have a data set of all the coffees we're drinking and their roast colors, so that there's compare and contrast. Because as you guys know, again, this is a topic for a different episode, is numbers and values aren't very universal.
No.
So it's actually better to create a data set that you can compare and speak relatively, rather than if I just tell you, hey, this is like an Agtron 100 or whatever. It's like, okay, well, there's so many things that impact that. So anyways, this is like closer to like I don't know, like a September-ish. This is like a September
DAC.
Probably on the lighter side, DAC, Mira.
Yeah.
So a few roasters that roast kind of on the lighter end.
Lighter side, yeah.
This isn't.
Is this lighter than Ilsa's coffees?
Probably.
Yeah.
From the few that I've checked. So I don't know when this podcast is gonna go live, because this weekend's a little busy, so I don't know. However, we're probably gonna launch a small little offering of this coffee, this roast. There's probably today. I'll just post it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, you should.
And then this will just be like a very limited drop. I don't know if people are interested in more of those. We can have more accidents and stuff. So, but yeah, so it's fun.
Can you share how many weeks off roast this coffee is?
This is
for a reference
almost
point?
3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks. So that means the potential of someone, if we drop this very soon on the website, like within a week, the potential of someone getting this, there's still room to hit prime.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably still drink it like now, and it's great.
And also in like two weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Yeah.
So, and this is great because it's rested coffee. Yeah, which is you can receive it and crack into it open. If you get a few bags, then you can crack into it and then still have. Anyways, coffee hoarder story. Speaking of flukes and mistakes. I will kick this off with a roaster horror story for me. Okay. And this is just one of those things that I just learned. It happened, and I learned never again to do that again. I'm roasting at Woods Coffee. Oh, yes. And, they have this. This is like my first time ever roasting, let alone roasting on a Loring, let alone roasting on like an S35, which is a 35 kilo batch roaster size, and we're doing like literally nearly 35 kilos on there, maxing out, and forgot, just roasting, everything's going great, dropped the batch. Next thing I know, there's like coffee going onto the floor.
Classic.
And I was like, oh man, I literally think I forgot to close the door.
That's on the Loring.
That's on the Loring.
Yeah.
And
what does the latch on the Loring look like again? It's not the same as the Diedrich where you open it up. Is it just like a barn door?
Yeah, it's an up and down.
It's an up and down.
Not like this. Yeah, it's an up and down. So, there's coffee goes into the cooling bin, instantly going into the floor, and
yikes.
It's 75 pounds. That's a big
loss.
That's a chunky, not only loss, but that's that's like a good amount of coffee and steaming, piping hot coffee. Just going, I mean, coffee that's like 412 degrees.
Yeah.
Literally just came out of the roaster and you're just like dumping it all over the
smoke.
floor. Yeah.
Filling the room.
Yeah. So literally, and this is like inside of a cafe too.
And it's the worst. Yeah.
So there's like people drinking and like coffee and chilling, and then literally you drop a coffee and then it's like just a flume of smoke.
Immersive experience.
It is as immersive as it gets, you know.
Yeah. And secondhand smoke in the worst way, dude. That's bad.
Yeah, that was a bummer. I mean, you're just and there's nothing you could do. Like
no.
And you kind of also have to do it fast. You kind of have to clean up the beans fast, but it's like, also you're like cleaning up like.
Are you by yourself?
410 degree beans.
Yeah, you can't scoop them up, dude.
Like you can't even pick them up with your hand. I mean,
did you like grab a pair of oven mitts, like spatula? Like, what are you doing? You had one of those big, almost like a. I don't know if I remember this right. Was there like almost like a big, like a snow shovel-esque?
No,
nothing to scoop.
So.
Really
they should have a snow shovel with those kinds of batches, just in case.
You gotta shovel stuff out, dude.
Shovel some beans.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was terrifying, especially since like I've never roasted before, and it's like this isn't like the first, but it was like some of my first few batches roasted.
Yeah.
And now looking back, I'm like, man, like 75 pounds. Like times like that's like what is that?
That's a pretty big
that's like
loss.
let's say 75 pounds, let's say 70 pounds for math. $2 a pound is 140 times, let's say just
another
times 3
times
140, that's close to $500.
That's
toast.
Absolutely awful. That's your day's wage, dude.
Yeah, that was my month's wage probably because I worked there like 2 days a week, like 10 hours a week, and that was a catastrophe.
Dude, that's awful. Speaking of that, because there's also at that roastery next to the roasting space. I kind of I took that cool photo of you where you're like brewing a pour over. It has like. It's a cool kind of setup. I like the roastery, and I live like literally like a kitty corner away from there, so I do pop into that woods on and off, and I still really enjoy the aesthetic of it. It's cool.
It's sick.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But my question was like, there's also those two massive cold brew vats next to the roaster. Any horror stories of like dropping something down into the vat by accident like someone falling in like
that's terrifying. No,
dude, death by cold brew
no, those cold brewers are so big. There should be a horror story attached to it. There should be because it feels not right that everything's fine. No,
maybe I've been watching too much Bones, but I feel like there should be some kind of situation
some
of
guys like dead
just
in
some
there.
scream or some like bones falling out and some a carcass of something.
It's great. That's I guess, I mean, not really a horror story, but there it's like if you have to like stir coffee for agitation. Once you got water in there. Yeah. And if you stir too much and you stir all the way to the bottom where all the coffee is, that you might actually kind of like move the filter. And the filter is held by like this like metal like prong that goes around that kind of pushes it to the walls. But if you can like slip the filter, and then all of a sudden if you get grounds in there into your brew, if you like move the filter enough for like grounds to go through, then that like extends your process by a lot, because you have to like move it over to the next tanker, or no, you have to, pretty much you have to like move it over, or you have to pretty much filter it again, and that is just a huge hassle. Like we're talking, guys, big, massive, like big.
How many gallons are you talking about? Like over 150, probably.
Yeah, something like that. So but thank God Shay was very patient. And even after my roaster mishap let me stand behind the roaster again.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. For me, like there's a similar stories. I have like 2 stories. Like a roaster one. I mean, one of the roaster ones is like for me is recent. We had a little situation after maintenance, and on the roaster, like had to replace some parts, grease the bearings, and no idea what happened. First batch, tossing it in, expecting for a nice good roast after a nice maintained machine, and it just starts getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and I'm looking at my thing and I'm like, there's no saving this one. I'm gonna try to either just like kind of scorch everything out and burn it out, or just try to get that roast to finish at some point without this coffee is not going anywhere.
Wait up. Give the folks some more context. Like you charge some green coffee. It's just an average day. You just warmed up the roaster. We did a little bit of, we had to fix and replace some parts and some maintenance, and right before that you charged up the roaster. Yeah. And
I mean, the secret is we just probably used but accurately used the wrong grease by accident.
Yes.
Accident.
Lesson learned.
And lesson learned. And so I'm like expecting the best because it's all clean and in shape. There's no squeaks, no grinds, no nothing. Thing is sounding excellent. Like the warm up was on point. Everything was good. I mean, I noticed a little bit of like on the ball bearing. I was like, oh, there's a little bit of grease, but that's kind of a good sign. Like you greased it well, we greased it well. Everything's going good. Like we don't have to worry about it. Like, greased is better than super dry. And then I noticed a little bit of a streak on the window. I'm like, that's not too bad. Like, whatever. It'll all clean up. Not too bad. And hit the roast, and it just starts getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And I'm trying to get it to specs and everything. And before I could even get to the end of the roast properly, it's already peaking, I think, at, what was a 430, like right about like dark roast temp. And I just drop it very early. And it's one of those horror stories when you're watching the little beans move and you're like, they're way too dark at this point. You got to release the hounds. You release the hounds in the cooling bin, and there is no cooling happening.
Right.
Absolutely no cooling. That was the first and only time as a roaster, whether it was, for me or anyone else I roasted, where I just kept my eye on the fire extinguisher. I was at that point sure that if, like, as I opened the latch to drop the coffee, I'm like, there might be combustion. The best part of all of this, fills with smoke, everything cools down, nothing goes crazy, no fire, no nothing. But the treat I left you, that was the best part. What did you think of my roast profile when you got into the roastery?
Yeah,
describe that.
That was the craziest.
Was it worthy of seasoning?
Like
for burr seasoning coffee?
If all the home baristas call Onyx Coffee Roasters light roast coal.
Oh my gosh.
If that's savage. If home baristas call that coal, you guys, there is no name in the English dictionary. If that is your scale, there's no name in the English dictionary to what I looked at in the bucket. That thing was so black. Like, guys, I literally, it was darker than the darkest black. It was it was terrible. The aromas, I think, I was going to say to this day, no. But
Vienna roast?
For days, that aroma did not leave the roastery. For days.
It took a while.
It smelled.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if Starbucks has reached anything darker.
Oh, that roast. Yeah.
That was really dark.
Yeah.
That was like beyond, I don't know.
I'll tell you what, that was a flash roast.
Listen,
I did not hit classic 15, 16 minute, like, dark. This is where I learned 7 minutes.
This is where I learned that roast time doesn't matter. This is where I'm like, Scott was right all this time. Roast time doesn't matter because you can have a 4-minute roast that's darker. That's darker than the darkest of dark.
It was insane.
That was terrifying.
Yeah. The good thing is I don't. Oh, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember. I dropped it early enough to where the alarm didn't go off. You know, where it shuts down the machine. I don't think it did that. As far as I remember, I don't think it did that because the machine kept going. I just started cooling it down, like instantly opened everything up.
It shuts the gas off at 470.
Yeah, so. It didn't. I don't think it hit that as far as I remember. So because it didn't shut it off. Yeah. Insane. Yeah. That was a wild. But let me piggyback off that really quick because there's like all these, dropping mistakes with you. And from that with me, one of the worst feelings ever is you're, working a cafe shift, working a bar shift and kind of cruising along. It's busy. There's like 4 or 5 people behind bar, like especially if you're working like a very high volume cafe. And I'll be honest, folks, I've done this as a barista. I want to say at every cafe I worked at. So especially I'm thinking of the cafe, one of the bigger cafes I worked at Makeworth in Bellingham. And it's like there's a lot of people behind bar. There's a pretty big bar. And back in the day, the setup was if you're on host role and you're standing taking orders, right behind your right shoulder was the Curtis Dual batch brewer. And basically on this nice white counter, Curtis, and I am taking orders, and all of a sudden I hear like a little pee trickle going on, and I'm like, dude, what is that drip? It sounds like someone's doing a nice pour over. You hear like good ASMR, and I'm like, oh, kind of enjoying the sound. And then I look up at the guest's face, and the guest's face is not focused on what I'm saying. The guest's face is definitely focused on that little trickle. Come to turn around, that trickle is forming into a nice puddle on the counter. And from the puddle down to the floor, the drip, drip, drip of another massive puddle. Because what happened is when I loaded the coffee into the batch brewer, into the basket, put the carafe in, didn't rinse out and dump the carafe, so the carafe had full of water and it's overfilling, filling the counter space with nice little batch brew, filling the floor. It's turning into a nice skate rink, and there's steam, and there's a whole lot of entertainment for everyone, including myself, because you're in the middle of a rush. Why does it happen in the middle of the rush? It always does.
Always.
The worst.
Water from like the previous day because you guys clean them. You guys fill them with hot water.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like usually start the morning with a nice, single carafe, and then you're like, oh, okay, once the rush gets going, an hour after open, you start brewing 2 at a time. Yeah. And the rush takes up your focus, and it's kind of it's the worst feeling because you're thinking about, do you make a joke out of it and kind of laugh it off and let the mess sit for a while? There's still a line out the door, right. Or do you allow the line out the door, watch you scramble and clean everything up, and there's a ton of towels flying and doing all of the things. So
wow. Yeah, it's no fun.
Yeah. I mean, the similar thing happened at Narrative, except the Narrative bar kind of had the batch brewers. It's similar, but kind of worse. Yeah. The batch brewers were tucked in behind this faux wall where the guest actually stands, and the POS system's on top, which is like great design because it's super convenient. You're brewing right in front of you, right under. It's just under counter, and it functions so good. Genius. But if you make that mistake on that batch brewer, it starts flowing out towards the guest's feet. So it's a very immersive, in the most real way, coffee experience for the guest.
Yes. Speaking of immersive, I had a very immersive cafe experience. I was just working behind bar, and my buddy came in from out of town. This is like, I don't know, early, like 8 or so, give or take. Thank God there weren't too many people in the cafe, but I was working behind bar, and somehow, for some reason, the pitcher rinser.
Oh, dang. I have a feeling.
Goes off, and there's no stopping it. Like, it's not stopping. Dude. And if anybody who's used a pitcher rinser, guys, they're pitcher rinsers.
Pressure.
They're meant for high pressure. They're meant to rinse out your pitcher. And this thing is just on. Just a high pressure stream going straight for the ceiling. And there's no stopping it. Like, guys, you can't put a towel on top.
Nope.
It's not going to work.
Nope.
Like, the pressure is insane.
Yeah.
What are you going to put a pitcher? I guess you can put a pitcher on top.
Yeah.
And just hold it.
Yeah.
But it's just going. It's just, there's no stop. There's no end to it. And there's like water all over the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
There's water from me trying to put a towel on, like spraying all around. And my buddy is just there, like laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm just helpless because I'm the only one behind the bar.
Yeah,
I opened by myself.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I don't know. And I've never dealt with that. I tried to I don't even know what the problem was. Either it was screwed in too much or unscrewed, or like it's pretty much like a glitch. It's like stuck. Sometimes like it's stuck.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I literally have no idea how to fix this.
No, that's the worst. Because again, like especially if you're by yourself on bar, like what do you just look at people and kind of laugh it off, like, oh, make a joke out of it and try to cover it up? Like, do you want to like outwardly calm the situation, or do you just kind of let it go and look for the shut off valve? Like, what do you do?
Right.
It's kind of the worst feings because you really don't know how to navigate.
Why doesn't anybody like to talk about like hospitality and customer service during
it's
during
absolutely
fires?
key.
Like that needs to be trained and talked about. But it's like the most weird, like, hard to know what to do. And
I had a sewage pipe break one time inside a cafe.
Oh God.
And like
that sounds crazy.
And again, it's like I'm by myself on bars. Like I don't know what to do. Like keep serving guests, and it's like people are like, oh dude, are you catching a whiff of that? Like, dude, something like, is everything okay? And I'm like, I can't really smell anything, really. Like, where's it coming from? Like, what? And like literally I was like, I can't really smell anything. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, did you like where'd you smell? Like, oh, like I walked in through the back door. And I'm like, and I turn around and look at the back closet that had a storm drain, and I'm like, ooh, that's the whiff, dude. That is the whiff. There's definitely some kind of sauce. And it's not chocolate sauce, no mocha for you, dude. This is no bueno. It is absolutely awful. And it's like at that point, what do you do? Like evacuate guests, like, turn yourself into the health department. I don't know. Call in for an ambulance. I don't know. Evacuate yourself and the guests, or like call the owner. You are the manager. Like, terrible. What do you do? Yeah. It's really hard. I mean, I think it's funny looking back and you're like, shoot, those are some good, nice jokes. But I love the pitcher rinser story. It's like a big summer blowout, dude. It's straight up sprinkler business. Yeah. We're all in this together. Let's enjoy. Hose, as long as it's not in the middle of the winter when things are freezing over, Yeah. That could be worse. Yeah. But I also remember, I mean, speaking of working by yourself on bar, a lot of the times, like, especially I remember a cafe where I would pull almost 12-hour shifts and work by myself, like majority of the shift with a little like help in the middle for rushes. But I remember opening it up and showing up, and it's like, again, you're the manager, you're not feeling well. There's no one to really call in. And that was when I started dialing in coffee in the early days. It took me like a decent amount of shots to dial in and trying to figure out, hey, and I think at that point, I remember I felt so much responsibility in dialing in espresso, and I still do. I value the aspect of opening up the cafe in the morning with a proper dial, like still just like complete like awe over that process. But especially in the beginning where you're like, today's dial is going to be the best dial ever. You're not blaming the roaster. You're taking full responsibility, and you're just downing shot after shot after shot. And I remember I came in this one morning to do that, and I wasn't feeling too hot. I was already didn't go to bed on time, was hanging out with friends for way too long, wasn't counting the amount of bevies I had. So it was like 1, 2 over the course of like the whole night. Came up, have a slight little headache, and I'm like, gosh, like I'm just not, my stomach's not sitting well. And then when that 6th shot of espresso, the sip, not even a full shot, hits the stomach, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Is like open the doors right now, or to spend 15 minutes in the bathroom cleansing out the body, like preparing yourself for the sacrifice of the morning rush in downtown.
Wow.
But there's been like a couple of times where I had to go into the bathroom, do a little cleanse a couple of times, clean up, come back, keep dialing in, baby. The espresso's got to be dialed. The sacrifices that baristas have to make to bring you the best tasting beverage. Dude. And if baristas don't care about dialing in espresso to that point, like if you haven't had that kind of experimental experience, like are you even a barista?
Yeah.
All of these stories make me think, like, do like home baristas even know how it feels to make these mistakes? Will they ever know how to make these mistakes?
And I mean, one of the perks of being a home barista, you just don't have to ever deal with that.
No.
It's great. No. It's great. There's no incentive to be a barista. There's no incentive. You pretty much have the best seat in the house.
Dude, home baristas are
you just like brew tasty coffee on your EG1, perfectly dialed every single morning, and you don't have to deal with guests, sewer breakage.
Nothing, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, home baristas are complaining about like not dumping out the rinse water and having to take a sip of coffee. Like, dude, are you for real?
Like, compared to you,
serious?
Yeah. Like, I guess anybody but baristas, like, I guess importers, but I'm sure they have. Yeah, I don't know.
I can't imagine the mistakes the costly mistakes. Like if some noob on the processing makes a little mistake with a fermentation tank. Dude, can you imagine the cost? Like, talk about dropping a batch, roasted batch on the floor, 75. Scary. That's one thing. But imagine you like mess up a fermentation tank.
Alrighty, folks, that's a wrap for this episode. Some horror stories. But if you have some horror stories, feel free to drop them down in the comments below. We'd love to hear about them. But anyways, as we always say, remember, reflect what's good.